We've got some breaking news for you. We are just now learning that the U.S. Navy has fired the commander of the 10 sailors who went off course in the Gulf and were captured and held by Iran for 15 hours. We're going to have more breaking details for you as this story develops. Once again, that commander has been fired. Mitt Romney, well, he continues to escalate his feud with Donald Trump, saying that Trump's refusal to release his tax returns is, quote, disqualifying. Romney's name also continues to be the center of a third-party effort to actually try, still at this late nature, stage of the game to defeat Donald Trump. Joining me now, Liz Peek, Tammy Bruce, Mark Serrano, and Evan Siegfried. Liz, you wrote a piece saying to conservatives, get over it.
Basically, this is what we've got, folks, and there's not going to be a third-party run. Look, we had a very strong conservative running against Trump in the primaries. Ted Cruz obviously was the strongest man left standing, and he didn't win. So there's no, first of all, the mechanics of a third-party run are almost impossible. I've talked to Mike Bloomberg about it, who was trying to think that through, et cetera. It just can't be done just about. And secondly, I don't really think there's a huge appetite for a far-right candidate to run in this cycle. So I think we have to get on board to the idea that we do not want Hillary Clinton elected, and that means Donald Trump.
Evan, I mean, listen, suck it up, right? I mean, isn't that the bottom line? It's when this whole thing began, they thought Donald Trump was going to be something of a fringe candidate who himself could start a third party. Relentless pressure for him to sign on the bottom line. He'll support the party. And now you've got the very same people who pushed him to do that, ignoring the very pledge that they demanded he make.
Well, listen, there's a benefit to actually having a third-party candidate. There are conservatives who are going to stay home. And in key battleground states such as New Hampshire, Ohio, where there are Senate races, which we need to keep and maintain control in the Senate, that would help if we could get a third-party candidate.
That, do you?
I do. I believe if a third-party,
if a viable
do you really
third-party,
believe that? I believe that if a viable third-party candidate
I know you're saying,
launches a suicide
mission, you're an intelligent guy, so you put together these kind of interesting, like three-level chess. But it's not that complicated, is it, Tammy?
In this regard, look, if someone is sophisticated enough to know there's a different person on the ballot, and that's what's going to get them out because they don't like Donald Trump, and then they're going to vote down the ballot, they will know to go to vote, even if they're not voting for president, to vote down the ballot. You don't need to treat them like kittens with cheese to get them to go. If you're going to be that sophisticated, you're going to go anyway and vote. But what we're seeing is, look, how many 8 to 10 million extra people have voted in this primary cycle? In their joint statement today, Ryan and Trump admitted in that statement there are millions of more people that came out. But I agree with Liz that we're looking at a point here, like for Mr. Romney, look, in all honesty, it's kind of sad. I have great regard for both the Romneys. For him now at this point to say what's it's disqualifying? Losing. That's what's disqualifying. The American people at this point.
He had his shot.
The American people at this point don't care what's in Donald Trump's tax returns. I have to tell you right now, I don't. I see his record of success. We know that he's an imperfect man, but we know that at this point, this nation is ready for him.
What record of success?
I'll tell you one second. Let me bring in Mark Serrano, then we can get back to that. But, you know, the way it's presented, though, particularly with someone like a Mitt Romney who feels like, you know, he's a very successful man himself, that he knows something, and it does pique the interest of some people. What's in those tax returns, Mark?
That's not going to, Charles, tax returns show very little. It's not going to affect the vote at all. Look, let me tell you something about Mitt Romney, okay? I didn't support him in 2012 in the primaries, but I cut him a check for his campaign for $2,000 in the fall because I wanted to see Barack Obama beat. Let me give you a message to Mitt Romney right now. Turn in your GOP voter card. Switch your registration. Go endorse Hillary Clinton if that's what you want to do, and get out of my party. And by the way, I want my money back. Because this guy is a traitor. He doesn't deserve to be a Republican anymore. Get out of the party and go endorse Hillary Clinton.
That's a little harsh, I have to say.
Come on, no, I don't care. He should support this nominee instead of talking Hillary Clinton's talking points.
So, Mark, if anybody who's formerly a GOP or currently GOP and not wholeheartedly behind Donald Trump, you say they're all traitors, or just Mitt Romney because he has enough influence to change the game?
Mitt Romney, who was the nominee for our party, who we fell behind and supported to beat Barack Obama and lost in a easily winnable race.
Newt Gingrich a traitor?
Yeah, no, we got to go, guys. But I will say
Newt Gingrich endorsed Donald Trump.
But he went out and he betrayed his president and House leader in 1990.
Well, here's the thing, guys. We'll talk about that further, but I think Mitt Romney certainly.
You have to explain that.
Mitt Romney lost the election, and I think people still held him in high regard. And I think as long as this starts to linger, a lot of those same people aren't going to hold him in that same high regard.
Agree.
All right, guys, let's leave it there. We've got a new Pew study that reveals just how much the middle class is shrinking, particularly in metropolitan areas. You know what? The bottom line in New York City, you're either rich or you're poor. So big city dreams are going bust. We'll talk about it next.